So you're thinking about moving to Port St Lucie, Florida? In this video, I'm going to go over the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and a lot of things you should know about Port St Lucie before you end up moving out here. So let's get into it right now. If you're new to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Port St Lucie, Florida, then subscribe down below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the market changes here in the Treasure Coast of Florida. My name is Jacob, I'm with the Kai's Company, and we get calls every day from people just like you looking to relocate here to the Treasure Coast. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or next year, shoot me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'd love to help make your transition here to the Treasure Coast go as smooth as possible. So Port St Lucie is a wonderful place. I live here in Port St Lucie. I love it. There is very much a reason why Port St Lucie, according to a U.S. Newsroom report, is the seventh fastest growing city in the whole country, in the whole United States. People are flocking here. It seems like everywhere you look, a new builder is putting up a new house. There's builders all over the place. There's model homes all over the place. People are really moving here quick. So in this video, like I said earlier, I'm going to be going over the pros and the cons of Port St Lucie in no particular order. To start, I am going to go over probably one of my number one pet peeves with Port St Lucie. If you are buying somewhere outside of an HOA, chances are you are not going to have a sidewalk in front of your house. So if you're someone who likes to take walks, my wife and I, we have two little girls, and we like to walk every day to kind of get our 2-year-old's energy out before bedtime. And a lot of times we end up walking in the street because there's nowhere else to walk. So you just got, get really good at looking behind you and checking, make sure there's no cars, and make sure you're not holding up traffic. And especially, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, if you live on one of the busier residential roads, you really want to make sure there's a sidewalk there, if you like walking. Speaking of the busy residential roads, there are several roads here that are pretty much main passages. Most of them are north to south roads. But if you need to get, from St. Lucie west down to Gatlin, or from Gatlin down to Becker, or wherever you're going, some of these north to south roads, and some east to west as well, they are through streets, but for whatever reason they are residential roads as well. So there are a lot of houses on these roads. So let's go over a Google Maps tour real quick. I'm going to show you some of these roads and make sure that if you're trying to avoid a busy road and you're buying sight unseen, meaning you haven't seen the house before you buy it, you're going to want to know not to buy on these streets if that's something that bothers you. So let's look at the Google Maps tour. Port St. Lucie has grown so fast that some of these streets, have the houses on them. And builders today are still buying these empty lots and building houses on these busy residential roads. As you can see on the map, speaking of which, if you haven't seen my map tour of Port St. Lucie, go see my map tour of Port St. Lucie. It's great. But here's going to be your St. Lucie West Boulevard or Prima Vista Boulevard. This is the main road here. And you're gonna have Gatlin here. There's a main road. And you're gonna have Becker. That's a main road. And those are fine to be busy. Gatlin and Port St. Lucie Boulevard. You expect those to be busy, but for whatever reason, people have built houses on busy roads. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of point out some of these streets for you. So if you have a realtor or someone showing you these homes, or you see a great priced home on one of these streets and you think, wow, that's an awesome deal, let me buy it before I look at it. You may want to watch out because you may be buying on a really busy street. If that bothers you, that's something you should know in advance. But if you don't mind, you can probably find a really good deal on some of these houses that are on some of these streets, if you don't mind a little bit of road noise and cars passing through. So let's start at the top of Port St. Lucie. We're going to zoom in right here so you can see. So we have Bayshore right here. Bayshore goes all the way down right here. Bayshore gets pretty busy. As you can see down here, here's your access to the Florida Turnpike, the toll road. So a lot of people coming on Bayshore, especially down here, to get access to the toll road. Really busy. There's houses on it. it's up to you whether you want to build on a or buy on a busy street or not. Arosa is going to be the same thing. Arosa is going to be a pretty busy one. Lots of houses on Arosa here. You have Floresta here. Floresta is a pretty busy one. A lot of people driving through, and a lot of houses on Floresta. And then if you go down a little bit, California's got some houses on it. So Savannah here, or Savona, however you say it. A lot of houses on Savona, and a lot of people driving through there. Same as Rosser, people head into Sam's Club or Walmart. Rosser and Parr, they'll be heading by on these roads here. Here's Port St Lucie Boulevard. There's houses over here on Port St Lucie Boulevard. Down here, it's not quite as busy because it's mainly residential. But up here, this part of Port St Lucie Boulevard, usually this is businesses over here though. But down here, there's still some cars coming through. Darwin's a busy one. And then Becker. This is one of the main roads. There's a turnpike exit down here. You can go over here to I-95. There's an entrance there. But people have houses on Becker, and they're nice houses, but it's up to you if you want to live on a busy road like that or not. So if I miss any roads, if you think there's any you want to know more about, let me know. But those are kind of the main ones in the area with a lot of traffic coming through. So if you see a house and think, oh, it's a really good deal. Oh, it's right there on that road. Or what's Arosa? What's Arosa? What's Bayshore? Blinked. What's Bayshore? Or what's Becker? Or what's Scotland? You're gonna want to make sure you're not buying, a house on a busy road like that bothers you. So Port St Lucie, you're not gonna have any beaches. It's one of the cons for the area. You can get all the way over to Indian River Drive and you can see the intercoastal. But as for beaches, there are no beaches in Port St. Lucie because you do not have access to Hutchinson Island from Port St. Lucie. You can drive through it, it's not very far drive to get to the beach. You may have to drive 5 or 10 minutes further than you would if you're living in, say, Fort Pierce or Stewart or Jensen Beach or one of those places. So you're still close to the beach. You still have a lot of access to the beaches. You just got to drive a little bit further. But on the flip side of that, because you're a little bit further away from the beaches, your home prices are generally going to be a little bit better priced compared to Stewart or Palm City or Jensen Beach. If you've seen some of my neighborhood vlog tours about Port St. Lucie, one of my favorite things about Port St. Lucie is there is a wide variety of what you can find here. If you want a really nice home in a really nice gated HOA community, golf course community, you can find that in Port St. Lucie. We have a lot of those around here. If you're looking for a home with more land, so you can have more acreage, you can have your garden, or you can have your privacy, something like that. You can also find that in Port St. Lucie. If you need a really big home, a lot of bedrooms, a lot of baths, you can find that. If you just need a little 2-bed, 1-bath, you can find that. Really whatever you're looking for, the whole spectrum of homes you have in Port St. Lucie. If you don't want water on your property, like waterways, like a canal or a river or a pond or lake or anything, yeah, there's a lot of those. But if you do want a canal, if you want a lake, if you want to live on the river, you have all of these varieties here in Port St. Lucie, which I really like. So no matter what you're looking for, if you have to be close to Port St. Lucie or you just really like Port St. Lucie, you can find whatever type of home you're looking for here, and really quite easily. So on the flip side of that, so Port St. Lucie, like I said earlier, according to U.S. News and Reports, is the 7th fastest growing city in the country. That means people are flocking here. The city's having a hard time adjusting to the surplus of people coming to this area. So, peak times of the day, school drop off in the morning or at night or in the afternoon, going to work, in the morning or in the afternoon. You're going to really want to make sure that you're living somewhere, checking those commuting times before you move here. you may think, oh, I'm only 5 miles away. But in reality, if you hit every red light on St. Lucie West, or if you're going down US 1 and you hit every red light down US 1, it's really going to slow that commute. But on the plus side, Port St. Lucie, they're really putting a lot of construction efforts in, trying to expand some of the roads, trying to make sure the infrastructure is trying to keep up. They're kind of doing it retroactively, but at the same time, they're still doing it. They're still trying to take care of the people here because they do care about you. So the place is growing. If you look, 20 years ago, the population has doubled pretty much in the last 20 years. But at the same time, they're trying to expand. They're trying to do things so that you are more comfortable. There is less traffic. But then, if you've seen some of my Treasure Coast videos, there's a snowbird season here. So in those winter months, from like October to March, April-ish, you are going to have, increased traffic on top of the already kind of congested traffic a little bit because of the snowbird season. But if you're moving from somewhere like New York or California, you're going to laugh when I say there's a lot of traffic here, because you're not going to think this is a lot of traffic. I'm talking about, me coming from small town in West Texas and going to school in small town East Idaho. I'm used to kind of the small town kind of traffic. So to me, there's a lot of traffic here, but to the rest of the country, there's probably not a lot of traffic by y'all standards. Some of the good things, some more pros about Port St. Lucie. The location of Port St. Lucie is phenomenal. So we're only a little bit away, a couple hours away from Orlando. We're only a couple hours away from Miami, with good traffic or decent traffic. If you need things in West Palm Beach, there's Costco not too far away. No matter where you're trying to get, you're really kind of close to everything here in Port St. Lucie. So if you do a lot of traveling, or your family does a lot of traveling, and you're price checking, you can check the prices at the Orlando airport. You can check prices at the Palm Beach International Airport, even Fort Lauderdale, Miami. All those airports are within a couple hours driving, which really isn't that bad. A flight from one airport or another can save you $300 or $400, And then, like I said earlier, we're also pretty close to the beaches. Whatever you really need, Port St. Lucie is really close to that. I think is one of the reasons why people are flocking here so fast. Because, we do have pretty much everything except Costco. We do not have a Costco yet. Hopefully in the future we'll get one. And then the things I really like about Port St. Lucie is there's a lot of things to do. St. Lucie County is really good at putting on activities to do here in Port St. Lucie. So if you go to visitstlucie.com, you can go check the calendar for the events going on. If you're familiar with Tradition Square, I'll have a video showing more about Tradition Square here in the near future. But they host a lot of farmers markets in the Tradition Square. Fort Pierce is technically part of St. Lucie County, same county as Port St. Lucie. So there's farmers markets up in Fort Pierce as well. That's not very far away. They do bonfires. They do all these other events. They do Strawberry Festival. They do all these sorts of events where they have a lot of vendors come. There will be good food. There will be fun items to look at. A lot of times they'll have a petting zoo. So for us, with our 2-year-old, we love going to these events because our daughter loves animals. So they have the petting zoo there. There's usually a little bounce house. Sometimes there's you can ride the horses, ride the ponies, or whatever is going on, depending where it's at. But St. Lucie County is very good at hosting a lot of events around the area. So if you're looking for a place that's a little bit more social, Port St. Lucie is definitely a very social, very, very busy social calendar with St. Lucie County heading that. And I think that is everything. Those are the pros and cons. If there's something you want to know more, please let me know down in the comments. I'll respond and let you know, answer the questions that you have. If y'all think I missed something about a pro or a con for the area, please let me know down in the comments as well. I'd love to hear your comments and your feedback, and so I can make these videos as informative as possible for you. All right, until next time, talk to y'all later.